I'm going to go over the new features in F5 Insight for ADSP version 1.2. Let's start with fleet management, managing software images. F5 Insight version 1.2 now supports software patching of your big IP instance. Here on the software images page, it shows all of the available images and whether or not they've been verified or not. If you need to upload an image, go here to upload file, and then select these three files here if you want to make sure that your image is verified. It's not required, but it's recommended. I've already done this, as you can see here with version 17.5.16, and it does show up as verified. So let's go ahead into the automation and jobs portion and review the type of jobs you can do. You can choose a software distribution, which automatically loads the software onto the big IPs that you choose. Software installation then takes that software image and installs it on the big IPs that you choose. And I'll show you what this process looks like. We'll start with the upload. I gave it a name and a description and specify the target of which big IP I want to have the software image uploaded to. And if you see here, I chose this specific image to upload the software to, but you could choose from among others. Checking if there's disk space is recommended, and it's one of the steps to do in this process. And if you look at distribution type, you can select from either serial or parallel. And then to run, simply execute the job. And if you were running a job, you can click here onto the executions, and it will show you the process. And clicking here will give you more details as well. Now let's take a look at the installation software. You can see it's similar here where I gave it a name and a description. The installation type can be either standalone or for an HA pair, and serial or parallel. In this case, we're using serial. The software is that version that was uploaded in the previous step. And the instances, you select basically the target volume. You can choose between first inactive, last inactive, or next sequential new, which is what I did here on this tenant. And so the target volume in this case is 1.3. And of course you can select more instances if needed. The readiness check, I'll go ahead and run it now. It's quite useful during a normal installation. And as you can see here, everything passed. The pre and post flight snapshot allows you to grab these core checks here during this process. And you can disable or enable those that you wish. And then to execute the job, you'd simply click Execute Job. And if you click on the execution here, while it's running, and it will show you the process of the task. In this case, it's complete, but if it were in progress, you would be able to view that here. Okay, let's take a look at some of the administrator authentication changes, specifically role-based access control, LDAP, and SAML. Now, if we go here under System Management, User Administration, Single Sign-On / Identity Provider, you'll notice that we have our built-in local login here, but also I've set up LDAP as well, and SAML is also supported. So to configure an LDAP provider, you'd click this right here, but let me just show you what I already did. I gave the provider a name. It's LDAP in this example. And then here's the LDAP URL. You can click the plus sign here to add more than one LDAP server. And you'll need to fill in all of these details here, the base DN, bind DN, password, and all of these attributes here that are specific to your LDAP server. And of course, there is an optional thing you can do here by enabling Start TLS for this connection. And for SAML, it's either ping or octa, but you do the same thing here where you'd enter a name and then the base 64 encoded metadata URL, possible binding, and these are settings that are going to be specific to your SAML provider. Okay, let's review role-based access control. We can review the different roles here. You can see the viewer is a read-only user. The operator has some privileges, and admin has full system access. And clicking on each of these role mapping options here will show you exactly what that role is mapped to. Now, if I want to add an administrator from, say, the LDAP server to make them a big IP admin, I can do that right here and choose Save. So now I'll be able to log in with that LDAP username and password. Okay, and the role mapping option here is similar if adding a user from SAML as well. There's also some audit logging. Now if we go up here to the AI assistant, and let's expand this, you can see that I have 3 different conversations here from various different times. The last question I asked was, what is the current status of all big IPs in all data centers? And I got a pretty good summary right here from the AI assistant, and it appears that there is a problem with one of them. And then I also had a question here that I asked about performance issues, and I had to clarify the all data centers, but it looked like everything was okay, even there were some anomalies. And then if we look here, you can see a different question that was asked about CPU issues across my big IP fleet. And it gave me a nice summary of what that was. So you can see here that the chat history will save the last 50 number or 50 chats that you have with the AI assistant. So you can simply hit this plus sign here to start a new one. Now additionally, there is an audit log for all of the interactions with the AI assistant. There's different event types, user message, tool call, etc. And you can filter by all these different criteria here, including time ranges. And you can see here it shows the different event types, the assistant response, user message, tool result, and so on and so forth, as well as the results that came out. And there's also an additional option here to mask sensitive data. So let's turn that on so that it's visible. And if we look over here, you can see that the client or the source IP address as well as the user agent is now visible. I'll go ahead and turn that off for now. Backup and restore is also supported. So let's take a look at those options as well. If you go to System Management, Backup and Restore, going to Backup is where you can actually schedule the different backups. You can see I have a backup right here, taken recently. And if you wish to create a backup, simply click the button, choose the type of backup you want, select your storage option, encryption password, and optionally add a name. I can also download a backup file, and then I can manually upload it, like so. And then if you wish to restore, you simply would click this restore option here, select the different variables that you would like. Now you must enter the decryption password to perform the restore, but after that, it will be done automatically. And when you do a restore, you'll see the successful job here as well. But of interest might be the scheduled backups here. You can create scheduled backups using this right here, but let me show you what I created. I gave it a name. It's a weekly backup every Sunday at 2 a.m. It's doing the config backup instead of a full backup, and it's being saved to local storage. So you're probably wondering what's the alternative to local storage. So let's take a look. So by default, these are the settings you'll find in local storage, but we do support external storage using either NFS or SMB. You'll need to configure these options here in order to save the storage to the different locations. So that is it for the new features in F5 Insight for ADSP version 1.2. I hope you enjoy this version. Thank you.